Let's pray. Lord, your word says in Psalm 11, the Lord is in his holy temple, the Lord's throne is in heaven. His eyes behold, his eyelids test the sons of men. The Lord tests the righteous and the wicked, and the one who loves violence is salted of their cup. For the Lord is righteous, he loves righteousness, the upright will behold his face. Father, we pray tonight that the upright would behold your face in this place. And we pray for this meeting, Lord, that you would give discernment and wisdom to this county commission, Lord, to all who appear before it. May you illumine each discussion, that all decisions would promote the well-being of your people with equity and justice. We ask this in your most holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Mr. Garza, would you lead us in the pledge, both pledges?
I take the flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In the absence of our county judge, I will preside over the meeting. We'd like to welcome each and every one of you here to a regular meeting of Tuesday, the 4th day of December of 2007 at 5:30 p.m. I see no public comment turned in. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to make public comment? No, Laura? No. Okay. That being the case, we will proceed to the... Well, I do wish to make public comment myself. Take advantage of the opportunity that nobody signed up. I think that we are all aware of the developments that have occurred at TxDOT as of today. I know that Mr. Sepulveda sent us all an email and maybe called some of us in regards to the upgrade of US 77 from Victoria to Brownsville as part of the TTC 69 bid award that occurred. And the development, especially the Corpus Christi to Brownsville sector on Highway 77, I think is probably one of the best news that we could have gotten for Christmas of 2007. This is a project that this commission has worked on for many years. We've been really pushing. I know that our Department of Transportation, spearheaded by Mr. Sepulveda and Mr. Garcia, have been very instrumental in lining up meetings. I know we've traveled the corridor between here and Corpus. We've looked for money. We've formed partnerships. We've got letters of commitment from EDCs. We've got, a lot of support from the entities, starting with Nueces County and the city of Corpus, all the way down to Raymondville, and everyone has been, not only Raymondville, but Sebastian and every little town in between on the corridor. It is great news to this county to know that the governor has taken the lead in making sure that this segment of the interstate highway be one of the first facilities to be considered for development under this plan. And, this is just a really great Christmas for Cameron County, for the people of South Texas, and I think that the fruition of what that corridor would mean to the valley, to Brownsville, to Cameron County in particular, is going to put us right in the middle of the intersection of traffic, both from sea, from air, from Mexico, and from upstate. So we're going to be in a great position, and I just want to publicly thank all the individuals that have been part of making that happen, in particular all the commissioners that are sitting with me today, and the county judge and the previous administration that we had also, because we were all there for this issue. And Pete and David, thank you so much for all the work, but I think the work has just begun. But I just want to make sure and mention that publicly, because it's something that, it's something that we kept hoping for and didn't know what the ultimate results were going to be. So I don't know if any of the other commissioners wish to make any statement on this issue, but it is a really important issue for us.
Well, Commissioner, the one thing, and I myself want to thank our staff that has worked so diligently, as well as the whole court. But this just goes to show that it was a unity and so many people involved. You know, we cannot, no man is an island, and I think it's something that we all know, but we need to be reminded about, that if you really want to get something done, it just takes everybody getting involved. And of course, it's tremendous for Cameron County, but not only for Cameron County, but all those other counties that are going to be benefiting from it. So I'm glad you brought it up, Commissioner.
I'd like to make a few comments on it also, and rightfully so. I think everyone that y'all have mentioned and many, many others have been working on this for a long time. It's unfortunate that it's taken so long, and I do think that the Trans-Texas Corridor program that has been instituted in the last few years has propelled it quite a bit and helped it move along a little bit faster than it had. I can recall meetings 16 years ago when it first got started, and people like Mr. Armstrong from Armstrong Ranch was at the meetings, and Steve Bozio and a lot of other people from the Valley and between here and Corpus Christi were at the ranches. A lot of them have passed away now. You know, they've not seen this come to fruition, but it was in their hearts and their minds and in their ideals that this is what was needed to be done. We needed an interstate into our area, and they worked hard on it while they were alive, and they passed the baton on to others, such as Pete and David and some of the other officials from the Valley and Corpus and all the way up. So, you know, I guess I just don't want to forget those folks who put a lot into it. You might say, in some cases, their heart and their soul and their body.
Well, you know, Todd, I'm glad you mentioned that, because our own Pete Benavides, I'm sure on the Brownsville City Commission as well as on this court, worked on this, and now, Sophie, I'm glad that you will continue and see the fruit of their labor. And I know that I've only had 5 years of being involved, and some people have had a lot more years than that.
Well, I can remember Tobin Armstrong being so excited about this, you know, getting started and everything, and as we all were and continue to be, because it's a long-term process, and we all realize that.
I'd like to state that while even I've been only here for a year, I know that my husband used to work closely with Amadeo Sainz, who is now heading TxDOT, and I know that Pete and David have worked closely with him, and I was happy to hear, even though I've never really met Mr. Sainz, but I'm sure that he had a lot to do with our getting it down here, in addition to, of course, to the governor's office and everybody else involved. But thank you, Pete, and thank you, David, for continuing to go up there, and you're always on top of things. I know you always keep me abreast of everything that's going on. Keep up the good work.
David?
Yeah, I just want to make a public comment on this issue. As you mentioned, Commissioner Garza, you know, this issue is just beginning. You know, we're still not over. You know, we're still pushing, and it just so happens that on Friday we're going to be in Houston, the I-69 Alliance meeting. We've already set up meetings with the proposers, Zachary Infrastructure and Sintra, the two proposers that are on this project that are going to be submitting their proposals to TxDOT. We met with Zachary initially back in the summer sometime, in San Antonio actually, and then earlier in January last year we had a meeting with Amadeo, if you all recall, and at that meeting we had a coalition from representatives from Corpus Christi all the way down to Cameron County. And so on Friday we're going to have a luncheon, and the sponsors of that luncheon are going to consist of the ports, because TxDOT has made it a priority to make sure that the Gulf Coast ports are included in any corridor that is being developed, because of the cargo and the shipments and so on and so forth, the trade coming in from Asia, and so they see that an opportunity. And so we've also talked to the Port of Brownsville, and the Port of Brownsville is going to be either attending or sponsoring. They're going to sponsor. They might be attending the luncheon. So we're going to have a meeting with those two firms on Friday in Houston,
and hopefully we'll continue the relationship, make sure that, that we're part of that team and providing input every step of the way.
The port has always played an integral role in the desire to have an interstate come to our area, and that was one of the first parameters that was looked at on it. And Pete's shaking his head yes, because he knows all this, because our port, being a deep water port as it is the only port in the nation that's not connected to the infrastructure of the United States by an interstate highway. And, we need that. We need that service. This is a good part of it.
Good news for us. Nice Christmas.
Nice Christmas. Lots more work.
Yeah. I will proceed with the consent agenda. Are there any items in there that any commissioner wishes or staff wishes to pull out for special consideration? Mr. Gonzalez David, is it imperative that we do number 4 today? Because the judge asked that we table it if possible till next week. Not a problem? Okay. Yes, sir. Okay. We'll wait for the judge to come in. So I'll ask that item 4 be tabled for next week. Anything else?
My motion is to approve, except for number 4, tabling number 4.
Okay.
Second.
Moved in second to approve all items and including the tabling of number 4. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We will go to the discussion items now, and I think I saw Sheriff Lucio walk in.
Yes, you got it. For number
Sheriff
30?
Lucio, we'll proceed to item number 30 so that we can go ahead and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And you will get us that slide so that we can show it to the rest of the court, right? Yeah. Captain Crabb got a national award, so Laura is in.
Congratulations.
And he went to Florida to receive it.
Tampa. Item number 30, consideration and approval of a resolution authorizing the Cameron County Sheriff's Department to submit a continuation grant application to the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council for the 2008 Sheriff Solid Waste Control Local Effort Project and designation of funding source for the required match. Sheriff Lucio?
Commissioners, good evening. I'm Sheriff Omar Lucio. With me is Lieutenant Carlos Garza, who is in charge of the Waste Management Program, and he's the one that works with Frank on this particular grant. And if I may, I would like to have the lieutenant here and explain to you, and I will answer any questions that the commissioner might have.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff. I would like to start, I guess, we started this program when Sheriff Lucio took office. The program was already in place and we took forward in 2005. We've been working with the same program for 2 years now. The total amount that we've done is tremendous, and it's really been a good program for us. We've helped a lot of people throughout the county. We've cleaned up a lot of sites. We cited a lot of people, even educated a lot of people in this type of situations that we handle. In 2 years of just illegal dumping sites that we have investigated is a total of 973 sites in 2 years. We narrowed that down into Class C's, B's, and A's. Class C's being 5 pounds or less of trash that is found. Class B's being 5 to 500 pounds of trash being dumped. And Class A's from 500 to 1,000 pounds. The last 2 years, the Class C's that we've investigated and cited is 241 offenses. Class B's have been 655 offenses, and Class A's have been 53. That's in the misdemeanor category. And then there's a step forward, which is a felony category, which is between 1,000 pounds or more. And we've had quite a few of those in the past. That includes tires that are thrown, debris from construction sites and whatnot. Most of the construction workers are really good by buying the line and going and disposing of this properly, but we'll have 1 or 2 that eventually just go out in the county road somewhere and we'll dump all this items out there. We've investigated 33 of those calls that are in the felony category. Done numerous arrests in reference to that, submitted some cases to the district attorney's office also with arrests and unarrested cases. Chronic dump sites also investigated. The number is 39 in 2 years.
And those are problem areas that we have in the county that we constantly patrol and that we monitor. We also have violators that are identified. In 2 years, we've identified 759 violators. That means direct contact, cited, or made aware of the situation that they dumped certain debris or whatever on the roadway. The deputies that we have go to the dump sites and investigate. I mean, they're on their knees and then looking through the rubbish and trying to find any evidence that they can, such as mail or any type of addresses, phone numbers, names within that trash, and that's how they make contact with the people that are violating the law.
Let me ask you on...
Yes, ma'am.
I might have missed something. To begin with, you said there were 973 investigations?
Yes.
Okay. And I guess my main concern is I want these people fined.
Yes, ma'am.
I want them to suffer consequences. And Omar, Sheriff, you know that I've discussed this with you, and I guess I have the biggest area, so I have the biggest problem. But they need to be fined. They need to know that we're not just going to slap their hand. They're going to, suffer the consequences. So how many were fined?
A total is 267 citations in 2 years. And that's because we find evidence that we can link to a person. A lot of the dump sites, there is no evidence to link anybody directly to that, so it goes by as a stat and it's picked up. But people that are identified as the person or persons who committed the offense are cited, and we have collected over $9,000 in fees in 2 years of citations. Now, these numbers can change because, some of the JPs have not gone in the numbers yet. Some cases are pending and whatnot, but that's where we're at, 267 citations. Now, illegal dump sites cleaned up in the county, and that affects all of us. That's about 561 in total of illegal dump sites that we've cleaned up with the cooperation of everybody here in the commission and whatnot. The total amount of illegal dumping and waste that has been removed from the county is over 170,000 pounds that we have up to date now. So that's a lot of trash.
Sure is. Unfortunately, I get a lot of phone calls from people saying so-and-so is dumping, and I don't even call you because they will not sign an affidavit. And even though they witnessed it, they're afraid. And there's nothing we can do. Our hands are tied if they're not willing to come forth. Now, you have to identify who reports them?
No, but not necessarily. Not necessarily, but we would advise you or any of the commissioners here, in case they called, tell them to get the license plate of the vehicle. It's easier for us to trace them that way and question them. Okay, if they give us the correct license plate, that is the prefix and the numbers, and hopefully that would help us. People just like to go out here and throw, dump either tires or anything of that nature just going by, and I realize people don't want to get involved with the law, but tell them they don't have to worry about anything of that nature. All they have to do is call us and we'll take it from there.
Thank you. Actually, Sheriff, I wanted you to say that publicly because you had already given me that information and I relayed it to them, and I think perhaps, not that they thought I'd say something that's not true, but they just didn't think that it was correct. And so I hope they're watching, and if they listen to you, they'll get the message. The sheriff is saying it, not Commissioner Tamayo.
And if they want to, they can call me at the office, and I'll go ahead and repeat that information for them, because definitely if we don't clean up this trash, good and well, it's going to become a plague, it's going to become rodents, and they bring a lot of disease, and it's a problem for the entire county. So all they have to do is let us know that they're out there, and if they get the license plate or tell us who it is, we don't have a problem with that. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Where is the funding source going to be found? Because I believe we need extra money for this program, right?
Yes.
Yeah. The only area that we can get the match from is from the overall lab salaries that we have. And then we'll have to build this into the budget for next fiscal year.
For the next
But that would be my recommendation, is to utilize the lab salaries.
John?
From what department? Just overall?
Lab salaries from any particular department, Pete?
Overall lab salaries,
Just
right?
what goes back into the whole fund.
I move
And then-
to approve.
Well, there's two options being presented to us
Oh,
also. And I would like Frank to come up because this program has been successful. Why is the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council reducing? They just got less funds from the government?
The council, it's my understanding that they've changed their priorities as far as solid waste funding. They believe that local solid waste enforcement is a local responsibility, and they want to put more responsibilities on the local governments to pay their own way. They're using their grant funds for other things like recycling, things like that. That's my understanding. We do have two options. Option one reflects a total budget of $116,587. That has a built-in 5% increase for the employees. There's two officers and a clerical person. And then option two has a total budget of $114,826. That has a built-in 3% employee increase for the two officers and the clerical person. And I believe the sheriff's office is requesting that you go with one or the other option. I should point out that I did check with the budget officer, and no one on that particular project unit got any increase like the rest of the employees. Everybody else, more or less, got $1,000 across the board, but that unit has not gotten anything.
Basically, Commissioner, that is correct. Everybody got $1,000 across the board, but because these three people are on a grant, they did not get an increase at all.
Plus they're on a calendar year versus a fiscal year, so that kind of complicates things. So what I've also done is, depending on what option you look at, because the project is on a calendar year, you can lessen the impact by dividing the additional match that's required into this current fiscal year and the next fiscal year. For example, under option one, where we need an additional $27,194
For that purpose?
If you're going to fund option one, which is the 5% increase, you would need $27,194 for the 12 months. But out of this current fiscal year, which expires in September of '08, you need to come up with $20,395. And if you were to go with option two, which is your 3% increase, the impact to the current fiscal year would be $9,074. I'm sorry, $19,074.
There's not much of a difference.
The primary reason, again, is the decrease in grant funds. We did budget match like we do every year, working with the budget officer and Commissioner's Court, but we did not anticipate a reduction in grant funds.
If we go with the 5%, how does that relate to more or less the $1,000 increase that other employees receive?
The 5% is more, and the...
How much more, though?
The $1,000 right in between. $1,000, if you give everybody a $1,000 increase, it would be in between the 3% and the 5%. I don't have the exact number.
So it would be, we would need to be more than 3, pretty close to 5.
Yeah, the 3% is actually less than $1,000 per employee.
And we're talking about 1,000 increase, and you're not including fringe benefits and all this other stuff in there.
I
or if
think
you're including it, then it's less. Because the amount of money here looks to me like it would be less than 1,000 if you're including fringe benefits on your end of it.
Yeah, I don't know how our fiscal analysts broke that down. I think when you do the increase, you have to build in the fringe benefits as well.
Yeah.
So it brings it up.
It's pretty
It's going to be about 5 is where it's going to be about.
Any other questions or comments?
So the 3% would be pretty much what we did for the rest of the employees, or
Less.
less? It would be less.
Considerably less. 5's going to be closer to what we did for them.
Yeah.
If you
Well, this is a
move-
very good program. I just want to see more citations, but I guess if you can't find what's there, maybe more awareness, especially the point that I brought out, Sheriff, about people being reluctant to testify, or I guess, or to you, as to witnessing it. Maybe we can do. What kind of awareness do you do in this program? Do you go to
We do
out in the communities?
community awareness, Commissioner, public awareness also at schools and whatnot. We
Okay.
speak with the parents of colonias and people that live around that area and kind of educate them on what they can do and give them other options. Instead of going out there and dumping in our county roads or places, we give them some options.
And the lieutenant's good about, I know Commissioner Tamayo, if you ask the lieutenant, you probably have already, to come, you probably already asked the lieutenant, but if you haven't, he's good about going out and making presentations to groups and helping them to understand the problems and what the consequences are, and I know he's
Well-
done that at Cameron Park several times.
Well, but the main thing, and that type of awareness is very important, and trying to get people to realize that they need to take responsibility and so on, but I'm after the guys that are doing it. And so I want you to really stress to people what they can do to report this, and that they're safe in that their name will not be revealed. You really need to work on that, because people are, they're not confident about that.
Our next plan, Commissioner, is to also incorporate our Cameron County Crime Stoppers hotline, also with the illegal dumping, so that people can call.
There you go.
Keep their names anonymous, and we can take it from there.
That's excellent.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And also, we're going to host a class next week, on the 12th, I believe, December the 12th, I'm sorry. I believe I sent emails, I don't know if y'all received one or not, but I'm also inviting everybody here, and the judges and whatnot, on behalf of the sheriff, countywide, so that they can come over and they can learn more about how serious this problem is, and educate ourselves in the problem.
Would you do something for me, publicly now? Give the best number for people to call.
The best number to call, and I'm going to give the Crime Stoppers number, it's 1-866-350-5551. And all we need is information. We don't ask for names or anything, just the information the caller has upon that, and that covers any offense, including illegal dumping, that they can report to us and remain anonymous.
Okay, so that was 1-866-350-5551.
Correct.
Any other questions? If not, do I hear a motion on this item?
I move that we go with a 5% salary.
Second?
Moved and second that we go with option number 1, which is a 5%, pending, I would imagine, the identification of the funding source. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Let us go to, you know what? Let's just go to 25, budget amendments, line item transfers, and salary schedules. Javier?
Commissioners, within your packets, there was included both budget amendments and line item transfers, and I also left another packet on your desk. Let me address the ones on your desk. The JP Technology, that's setting up the funding for the equipment that was approved a couple of weeks ago for JP by Judge Wise. On the second page, the boat ramp, Javier Mendez is here if you have any questions, and that's just setting up the payment for the architectural services for the boat ramp. And below that is the Health Department. There is also someone here from the Health Department if you have any questions. It's just line items.
Any questions on the budget amendments or line item transfers?
Move to approve.
Second?
Moved by Commissioner Wood, second by Commissioner Navides. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 26 is approval of claims. Mr. Allman?
We have some additional claims there that need to be included.
Yeah, we have the addition.
Okay. Any questions on the approval of claims? If not, do I hear a motion to approve as presented, along with the two-page addition that you provided us?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Tamayo, second by Commissioner Wood. All those in favor of approval of claims, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Approval of minutes for November the 6th, 2007, regular meeting, and November the 13th of 2007, regular meeting.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Is everybody,
Okay.
motion for approval?
Second.
Moved and second for approval of the minutes for those two meetings. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 28, consideration and authorization to purchase additional fire devices utilizing Texas Master Agreement Schedule, TexMAS, Johnson Control Inc., and to designate funding source. Robert?
Commissioners, these devices are needed to meet all the local and state fire codes for the third and fourth floor administrative building for the DA project.
And funding source?
The source of funds for that project are the settlement proceeds, and so I would say that we just amend the budget by that amount and utilize the settlement proceeds.
Move to approve.
Second.
Javier? Okay. Moved by Commissioner Wood, second by Commissioner Navides. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 29, consideration and authorization to purchase CCTV camera replacements and UPS surge protectors utilizing the Interlocal Purchase System, TIPS, KLC video, and designate funding source. Robert?
These are replacement cameras for the Carrizales Rucker. These, there's a total of 8 cameras that went down, malfunctioned due to an electrical storm back in July of '07. And these are needed for, of course, surveillance of the...
Are we addressing just the surge protectors for this 8 cameras, or are we looking at doing other surge protectors in that?
Just for the replacements.
Just for the replacements.
We did get the insurance company to cover, I believe it's $24,000, so we're lacking $5,000, but that can come from within the M&O budget.
From where?
From the M&O budget.
Okay.
So we've got the money.
Yeah, with the other insurance paid.
Motion for approval.
Motion by Commissioner Tamayo. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Benavides. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 31, which is the county, state, and federal legislative agenda. David, do we have any report?
No, besides the I-69 issue that we had talked about earlier, there is one other issue. We got word earlier this morning, Pete got an email from the GLO on that coastal management assistant grant that we had been working on, trying to recoup some of the monies that we were potentially going to lose. We're going to be receiving the $50,000 reimbursement pretty quick as soon as we sign the contract on that and get it back to them. So we're able to get some of that money back, and we'll be working on a quarterly report now instead of a monthly report to submit to the GLO.
Good.
Good.
And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Acknowledge report.
Second.
Moved and second to acknowledge report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next on the agenda, we have executive session.
Motion to go into executive session. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Tamayo, second by Commissioner Benavides. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The Commissioners Court will convene an executive session to confer with legal counsel concerning Arnulfo Huerta versus Cameron County Sheriff's Department, EEOC charge number 451-2008-00211 for the authorization to represent the Sheriff's Department in the possible mediation pursuant to VTCA Government Code Section 551.071 1A and 2, and to confer with Commissioners Court legal counsel for authority for the Civil Division to represent the Commissioners Court and to file appropriate pleadings and motions to protect the Commissioners Court confidential information and privileged communications with its attorney in the criminal cases against Mark Yates, on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with this chapter pursuant to VTCA Government Code Section 551.071(1)A and 2. Court will recess to executive session. To go into open session.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second to go back into open session. The court convenes back in open session at 6:16 p.m. And from open session, we will now discuss action to be taken relative to its executive session. On item A, do I hear a motion on item A, which is the Arnulfo Huerta versus Cameron County Sheriff's Office EEOC charge? Richard?
We're just going to acknowledge report.
Move for approval for the Cameron County Civil Division to represent the county in the EEOC complaint filed by Arnulfo Huerta and to entertain mediation if deemed appropriate.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Wood, second by Commissioner Benavides. Any discussion? Not. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Item B, confer with Commissioners Court Legal Counsel for authority for the Civil Legal Division to represent Commissioners Court and to file appropriate pleadings and motions to protect the Commissioners Court confidential information and privileged communications with its attorney in the criminal cases against Mark Yates on the matter of which it is the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas. We
Clearly
move to
Would the motion or move to authorize the Civil Division of the Commissioners Court or grant authority to the Civil Division of the Commissioners Court to represent the Commissioners Court and file any appropriate pleadings and motions to protect the Commissioners Court confidential information and privileged communications with its attorneys in the criminal cases filed against Mark Yates.
So moved.
In reference to Mark Yates' case. Did you say that?
Yeah.
Okay. Second?
Moved and second. Any questions? I just have one, and I didn't think of it in executive session. I don't think there's a problem asking it here. Wouldn't you have that authority as our legal representatives as a regular basis without having to require action by the court for a particular item? I mean, you represent us, right?
That's correct, but no, the answer to that is generally no. What happens is we get challenged, and it's happened, is we'll get challenged with the authority. We'll enter a case, enter a case for the court, and we have been challenged, saying, show your authority. There's appropriate motions to challenge an attorney's authority. And any entity, any attorney representing any entity, not just governmental, will from time to time get so challenged, and they're hoping they catch you without a minute or a resolution granting you that authority. And I'm just closing that door before it happens.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Nay.
Motion carries. Item, I think I was alerted that we might have not done the travel items when we went to the consent. I did not mention travel. So, I don't recall.
I move to approve travel.
Second?
Moved in second. Everything included, right? There's no...
Yes.
There's no
Okay.
change.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Benavides. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Meeting is adjourned as of what time? 6:20
6:20. Record.
p.m.
Very good. Thank you,
so
Commissioner.
much.